Hey, what's up guys, Benny here. Now, one of the biggest decisions that you always have to make whilst playing Apex Legends is which weapons should you pick up? Is this gun better than that gun? Should I drop my Mozambique for that Mastiff? Well, I'm going to answer all those questions in this video by ranking every weapon from the worst to the best and giving you everything you need to know about every single gun, and I'll also give you some tips on how to get the most out of each weapon so you can rack up as many kills as possible. First up, we have one of the worst guns in Apex Legends, and to be perfectly honest with you, it is also probably one of the worst guns in FPS gaming history. I challenge you to try and name a worse gun down in the comments below, but that is of course the Mozambique pistol, shotgun, pea shooter, whatever you want to call it, but it does 45 damage to the body if all 3 bullets hit from a single shot, and then 66 damage to the head, so pretty much nothing. This is honestly a gun you should only pick up if there is no other option, so pretty much when you first land and that's it, but sometimes it still might be better just to use your fists. Next up is the second worst gun in Apex Legends, and we have the P2020, which is a single fire pistol that uses light ammo. It does 12 damage to the body per shot and 18 to the head. This is another weapon that you're only ever really going to use at the start of a match if you haven't been able to find any of the other better guns, but if you have a fast trigger finger and are accurate, you can still bring someone down pretty quickly if they're unaware, but I wouldn't recommend using it if I'm perfectly honest, as if I spot you with this thing, I will hunt you down and pick up what I like to think will be a free kill. Another thing to be aware of with all the weapons we're looking at is that in Apex Legends there is limb damage, which will do less damage than if you hit the body or the head. So, for example, the RE45, which is not a terrible gun and has got me out of some tricky situations, has a base damage of 11, but will do 9 damage to a leg or an arm. So this is a game that rewards being accurate. The RE45 uses the most common ammo type in the game, light ammo, but also has a fast draw time of 0.35 seconds, so is perfect for finishing an enemy off that you've damaged at close range, especially as it's full auto. And that's why I would recommend using the RE45-4, just to finish off enemies if you run out of ammo in your main gun in an intense gunfight. Next, we have the Alternator, which is a nice, steady, low fire rate SMG which shoots at 640 rounds per minute, which is why I don't think that it's that great a gun and doesn't really fit into the world of Apex, as at the range you'll be using the Alternator, you'll be coming up against shotguns like the Mastiff or Peacekeeper, which have far higher damage outputs at close range than the Alternator. But don't get me wrong, you can still make some great plays with this gun, and it's fairly easy to land your shots because of its steady fire rate and low recoil, but it's not a gun you want to prioritize over other SMGs and assault rifles in the game. We then have the triple take sniper rifle, which is quite a unique weapon as it fires 3 shots at a time in a horizontal line, which can make it quite hard to hit your opponent, which makes getting the precision choke attachment key to making the triple take a usable weapon. Personally, I would suggest avoiding the triple take completely. It's not the worst gun in the world, but I think it's a bit of a meme. Like, come on, it does 69 bullet damage. 69! Why would they not just make it 70? Anyway, the gun also uses the most uncommon ammo in the game currently with energy ammo, but is quite an underwhelming weapon and won't help you come out on top consistently in a lot of gunfights, so just avoid it. Coming in as the 6th worst gun in Apex Legends is the EVA 8 auto shotgun. Now, if you're right up in someone's face, this gun is going to do some serious damage. It fires 9 shells at a time, which all do 7 damage to the body, but if someone has full epic armor and has 200 health, it's going to take 4 shots to bring someone down with a shotgun. Now, for me, I feel like a shotgun because of how ineffective it is at any other range in the game other than being right in your face, means it needs to be able to take someone down in 1 to 2 shots max, unless it's like the AA-12 from Call of Duty and has a disgustingly high fire rate, which the EVA 8 just doesn't have. But to get the most out of the EVA 8, try get an epic shotgun bolt to ramp up the shotgun's fire rate to get that DPS as high as possible. Then stick in buildings or a Gibraltar shield, as that's how close you need to keep the gunfights in order to come out on top. Next, we have the Prowler, which can actually be a really good weapon and one of the better SMGs in the game once you manage to find the selective fire attachment, which allows you to turn the Prowler from a burst SMG firing 5 bullets at a time to fully automatic, which makes it the only heavy ammo SMG in the game, which deals 14 damage a shot to the body, 21 to the head at 800 rounds per minute. You want to make sure to get an extended heavy mag on it as soon as possible to take full advantage. Without the select fire attachment, I would only use this gun for early game before you find a fully automatic weapon, but with that attachment, it becomes a beast. We now have our first assault rifle in the list from Apex Legends, and that is the Flatline, which is a pretty solid gun. I'm not too worried if I drop in and end up with a Flatline. It's a pretty solid automatic assault rifle. What lets it down though compared to better assault rifles that we'll be seeing shortly is its lack of attachments. You can't have a barrel which helps control the gun's recoil, which is the gun's weakest point, which is what makes the Flatline not as good as the Hemlock, Havoc, or the R301, which are the game's other assault rifles. The gun, however, does pack a punch with 16 damage for a shot to the body and 32 to the head. So if you do manage to control the recoil, you can drop someone pretty quickly, though it's not going to be able to do it on a consistent basis. We then have the G7 Scout, which is a single fire rifle which I actually really enjoy using. It's perfect for holding those mid-range gunfights with you being able to hit opponents for 30 damage at a time and 60 for a headshot. The gun also uses light ammo, so you're never short of bullets, which is awesome because I don't know about you, but for some reason I always never seem to have enough ammo. I might just be a bit too trigger happy. But the G7 Scout also becomes super easy to control when you've managed to find a good level of attachments for it. Though where you will struggle is when enemies get up close to you with almost any other full auto gun in the game. So just try to keep everyone at an arm's distance, either take a few shots and run away or lock down a position with some cover to get the most out of the G7 Scout. So one weapon type that I've tended to avoid in Apex Legends is the snipers, the triple take, longbow, and the Kraber, because I personally don't feel they're consistently powerful enough compared to other weapons in the game, though you of course can still pull off some ridiculous plays with them. I'm just not the biggest fan. Now, the longbow is pretty solid, especially if you get that skull piercer attachment, which increases headshot damage. A bullet to the chest will deal 55 damage, and then a headshot will do 110. The biggest thing to be successful with the longbow is that you have to be accurate. With the fast-paced nature of Apex Legends, if you miss, you're going to end up dead, so take your time and play on a lower sensitivity when using snipers. The longbow can fire a shot every second, so if you land headshot after headshot, you can clear up a squad pretty damn quickly. We're now starting to get to the business end of the video, and where some of you may start disagreeing with what you think is a better gun, so do make sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with where a gun is ranked. But next we have the Devotion, one of 3 energy ammo weapons available in Apex Legends. Now, this gun shreds, but the biggest issue is the lack of ammo, as energy ammo is the hardest to find in the game as there's only 3 guns. The Devotion deals 17 damage to the body and 34 to the head and fires 900 rounds per minute, so it's one of the few guns you can run into an entire squad with, and your 44 round magazine will help you drop all of them without too much of a sweat. But you'll find that before you start firing, there's a bit of a charge time before you start shooting bullets, which means if someone jumps you, you might not have enough time to get a shot off, but if you open up a gunfight, you're in an amazing position. Or if you've been lucky enough to find the turbocharger attachment for the Devotion, which reduces the gun's spin-up time, there's still a good chance you can come out on top. In 9th place is the Hemlock Assault Rifle. It uses heavy ammo and is a 3-shot burst AR with the ability to change to single fire, which, if you've got a really fast trigger finger, can make the Hemlock unstoppable, though that's mainly for PC players. You'll do 18 damage per bullet and 36 to the head. To get the most out of this weapon, if you're using the burst fire mode, you'll want to keep enemies at around a medium distance and take your time between firing the bursts in order to control the weapon's recoil and land your shots to pick up those kills. But it's a pretty solid all-round weapon, and unlike the flatline, can also have a barrel attachment to reduce the gun's recoil to make it more effective at a longer range. In 8th place, we have the Kraber Sniper Rifle, which is a legendary weapon that you can only get from supply drops. This would be ranked higher on my list because it can deal an insane amount of damage and knock pretty much anyone out in one shot to the head, but it has without doubt got the most frustrating fire rate of any gun in the entire game. If you do pick this up, make sure to take your time with your shots because it does take so long to fire 2 shots in a row. It doesn't have too much bullet drop, so it's fairly easy to land your shots in comparison to other snipers, but it also has the ability to completely transform a team fight if you do land that headshot. Sadly, you just won't be firing very often, so make sure you make it count when you do. The Peacekeeper is probably one of everyone's favorite guns in Apex Legends because it can deal insane damage at close range, with it firing 11 rounds a shot that do 10 damage each. So at the start of a game, before anyone has managed to grab any armor, you can drop people in just one shot, just like you would expect from a shotgun. The shotgun's bullet spread is shaped like a star, so at close range you definitely want to make sure you aim for center mass to maximize the amount of shots that land. But you can also get the precision choke attachment to make the Peacekeeper even effective at short to medium range, as it tightens that bullet spread, which is really powerful when enemies are rushing at you across open ground. Also, the Peacekeeper combined with a digital threat scope if you're playing as Bangalore and can get your smoke down is one of the best combinations in the game. As a console player, I am in absolute love with the Spitfire. It's a light machine gun that uses heavy ammo that deals 20 damage per shot to the body and 40 to the head, with a magazine size of 35, which with an epic extended heavy mag goes all the way to 55 bullets at a time, which means towards endgame you can just keep on shooting and deal so much damage to enemy teams without having to duck out of combat to reload. It's perfect when you run into an entire enemy squad. The fire rate is pretty steady at 512 rounds per minute, and the recoil isn't that bad, which makes the Spitfire one of my favorite guns in the game, especially on console, where you can take advantage of the in-game aim assist to really deal some serious damage. So if you get the chance, prioritize the Spitfire over any other heavy ammo assault rifle in the game. Next up, we have one of the best guns in the entire game, and one that I try to have on me at all times, and that is the R99 submachine gun, which has the highest DPS in the entire game, partially because it can fire 1060 rounds per minute, so you can pop into a gunfight, unleash your entire clip, and drop an opponent before they can even react, which is what this gun is best used for. Pop around a corner, fire, and then duck straight back into cover whilst you reload, and then go again. Early on, the gun can struggle, as it does only have 18 bullets in a mag, which is why as a team you need to make sure that whoever is using the R99 gets the extended light mag as quickly as possible, as it gives the player a big margin for error when they jump into a gunfight, as you will need to land a large amount of bullets to drop an opponent, as it only does 12 damage per shot to the body. You can also use the digital threat scope with the R99, which makes it perfect if you're playing as Bangalore and lure enemies into your smoke. Trust me, try it. The R301 has been arguably the best gun in the game since Apex Legends came out. It's got everything you want for an assault rifle, almost no recoil and a high fire rate to go along with it, effectively making the gun a laser beam and effective at all ranges, from short because of the high fire rate to long range because of the low recoil. This is a gun you should feel comfortable with in all situations that you'll come across in Apex. It's a great all-rounder and an easy gun to master compared to something like the Wingman. Whatever your skill level, you'll find success with the R301. 14 damage a shot to the body and 28 damage to the head also means it packs a punch. And because you'll find it difficult to miss with it, enemies drop pretty damn quickly, so make sure to use it. And in third place is the Havoc, which has only just been added to the game, and I am in love. It is ridiculous, and I personally think slightly overpowered, especially when you get that turbocharger attachment, which means it needs no warm-up time to start firing. The Havoc is an energy weapon, which is currently my only concern, as there's only 3 energy weapons in the entire game, which makes the ammo fairly scarce, but it does 18 damage a shot, which is the same as the heavy ammo Hemlock. It also has a pretty fast fire rate, which will drop enemies so quickly up close, and with a 25 magazine, the second you pick it up, it's ideal for early game. Honestly, if you get the chance, make sure to try out the Havoc and you'll find yourself picking up a lot more kills than you're used to. And in second place, we have the Wingman. This is the hardest weapon to use well in the game and is very unforgiving, but if you're a skilled player and can use it properly, it is ridiculously powerful. You can pretty much come out on top in any gunfight at any range with the Wingman in Apex Legends. It uses heavy ammo and will deal 45 damage to the body and 90 to the head. And you can also use the Skull Piercer attachment to increase the gun's headshot damage to make it even more powerful. The hard thing is that it has a fairly low rate of fire if you want to be accurate with it, especially at range. Which is why I think the Wingman is far better on PC than console, as you can have that extra precision needed to be effective with it. But you can drop enemies that even have full shield in a matter of seconds with back-to-back headshots. So if you're a skillful player and want to have the ability to pick up the most kills in the game, learn to use the Wingman. There's a reason that all current kill world records in Apex Legends have been made whilst using the Wingman. It's overpowered, so make sure to take advantage of it. But the best gun in the game has got to be the legendary Mastiff shotgun. This thing is a beast. You can only get it from supply drops, just like the Kraber sniper rifle, but at close range you can drop enemies so easily. Each bullet does 18 damage and it fires 8 at a time, so you can drop anyone in a gunfight pretty quickly, especially inside buildings or in smoke. It's one of the few weapons that I'll feel confident about being able to take out a full squad in quick succession with. It does only have 4 bullets in a mag, but that's all you really need with this weapon. But there we have it, every single weapon that is currently available pre-Season 1 in Apex Legends. There is a lot of choice with no real overpowered weapons other than maybe the Wingman, but I love this game and would love to hear from you if you agree or disagree with my list down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe for more Apex Legends content and smash that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!